Welcome to our May 6th board meeting, 2021. In accordance with an act to implement provisions necessary to the health, welfare, and safety of the citizens of Maine in response to the COVID-19 public health emergency as enacted to state of emergency to COVID-19, and for 30 days following the termination of that state of emergency, the regular board meeting will be held through Google Meet. This meeting will be live streamed and available for viewing at www.msad11.org. Members of the public wishing to make a comment are invited to do so during the public comment sections of the meeting and may call 207-582-5346. Again, 207-582-5346. Or send an email to schoolboard, capital S, capital B, at msad11.org. School board, capital S, capital B, at msad11.org. In addition to the regular public comment section at the beginning of the board agenda, an additional public comment section has been added at the end of the agenda to provide the school board with the ability to answer questions sent to them during the meeting. We will now call to order. Pursuant to subsection 403A of MRSA, Maine Revised Statutes Annotated, we will now confirm that each member of the MSAD11 school board can hear and be heard. We will do this by calling the roll. Members are asked to say yay. We ask all members to listen and report any audio difficulties when the roll is complete. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Becky Fless?
Yay.
Veronica Babcock?
Yay.
Nancy Fortier-Brown?
Nancy is unable to be with us tonight. She did call ahead and let me know.
Great, thank you. Teresa Garrett?
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge?
Yay.
Jim Lothridge?
Yay.
Nicole Medore?
Yay.
Matthew Marshall?
Yay.
Cullen McGuff?
Yay.
Patrick Saucier?
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy?
Yay.
Tony Veet?
Yay.
Quentin Martin?
Yay.
Gwen Bolduc-Ignaziak?
Yay.
That's it, Becky. Everyone's here. You have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Administrative staff?
Pat Hopkins, Superintendent of Schools. Andrea, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. Andrea Dish, I'm the district's business manager.
Angela?
Angela Hardy, Director of Curriculum.
Chad?
Chad Kempton, high school principal.
Christina?
Christina O'Neill, principal of Pittston Randolph Consolidated School.
Alicia?
Elisha Morris, Director of Special Services.
Gabe?
Gabe Dostey, Director of Operations.
John?
John LaPeria, middle school principal.
Josh? Josh disappeared. His name was right there, and now it's gone. Katie?
Katie Gould, principal at Helen Thompson School.
Karen?
Karen Moody, Building Principal of Lord Richard School.
Nate?
Nate Stubbert, Athletic Director.
Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Sarah Sims. I am principal candidate for the Gardner Regional Middle School. I'm really excited to be here tonight and be part of this process.
Thank you, Sarah. Terry?
Hi, I'm Terry McGuire, Director of Technology.
Tom?
Tom Landberg, Assistant Principal, Gardner Regional Middle School.
Vicki?
Vicki Duguay, Principal of Riverview Community School.
And I see that Josh rejoined us.
Josh Farr, Director of Adult Ed. I have really fat fingers and disconnected. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Thank
Hit the
you.
wrong button.
That's everyone, Becky.
I thought you were gifted at the Vanishing Act, and I was really impressed, Josh. So,
Thank you.
let's all stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public comments for items on the agenda.
I did not receive any public comments.
Okay. Review and approval of agenda minutes, prioritization of items and alteration of the established agenda format, the sequence as needed. So approval of the amended agenda.
I have one additional change. I would like to add under new business. I would like to add a G, and that would be approval to create an additional Gardner Regional Middle School softball team for 1 year.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion, please, to approve the agenda as adjusted.
I move we approve the agenda as amended. This is Tony B.
I second that.
Okay, Teresa seconding. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Becky Fless,
Yay.
Veronica Babcock,
Yay.
Teresa Garrett,
Yay.
Matthew Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Medor,
Yay.
Matt Marshall,
Yay.
Cullen McGuff,
Yay.
Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony Beats,
Yay.
Quentin Martin,
Yay.
Gwen Boldick Ignatiak.
Yay.
That's unanimous, Becky.
Thank you. Approval of minutes of previous meetings, the regular board meeting of March 4th and of April 1st. May I have a motion, please?
Go ahead, Veronica. I make a motion to approve the minutes. I'll second. It's Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Becky Fless,
Yay.
Veronica Babcock,
Yay.
Teresa Garrett,
Yay.
Matt Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Medor,
Yay.
Matt Marshall,
Yay.
Cullen McGuff,
Yay.
Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony Beat,
Yay.
Quentin Martin,
Yay.
and Gwen Boldick Ignatiak.
Yay.
It's unanimous.
Great, thank you. Correspondence as written.
Yes, as written.
Okay. Committee reports. There was no capital area tech advisory meeting, so curriculum committee, please.
Yeah, we met April 13th at 4:15. We discussed the ELA curriculum and program review update. There were 5 programs that the curriculum review committee were looking at. Those would have been the collaborative classroom K through 5, open up education ELA K through 8, Fish Tank Plus K through 8, paths to college and careers 6 through 8, and content knowledge language arts / amplify K through 8. Social studies curriculum and program review update. The committee decided to hold off because a lot of the content involves ELA curriculum. Is there anything you wanted to add there, Angela?
Right. The elementary social studies team was waiting to see which ELA program was selected due to the integration of social studies content in some of those ELA programs. And the 6 through 8 committee has increased its membership to include more social studies teachers from the middle school and has been conducting a standards mapping process and adjusting its scope and sequence for next year. And therefore, once that's done, we will continue to go through an instructional resource review. Sorry, my dog wanted to chime in.
That is awesome. Budget adjustments for fiscal year 22. The committee reviewed draft budgets submitted from Angela in February. The district was able to shift one-time curriculum purchases for ELA and social study materials from the local budget to federal relief budget, which was actually really great. And I know later on in the meeting, Angela's going to give an update on some instructional models. So that's about it.
All right then. No dropout prevention, finance committee. The last two finance committees, we have just been working on the budget. At the last one, we heard the adult ed budget. Josh Farr was our special guest. We heard the nutrition budget, and we discussed the virtual budget hearing that will be happening on June 1st. And we'll be discussing the budget later in the meeting. So rather than going deep into detail, I think I'll just save it for that time, if that seems okay. Policy committee, no meeting, no policies.
There is an addition though that Tony would like to share.
Yes, I'd forgotten. Yep.
Thank you, Pat.
Sorry, Tony.
So we just met just before this meeting, and those minutes will come forth for the next board meeting. One of the policies that we reviewed reflects updates to policy IKF, which focuses on graduation. And we have a graduation coming up. I think we're going to talk about that more, graduation specifically, later in this agenda. What I'd like to do right now is actually kind of do a straw poll, a thumbs up, thumbs down with the board for two parts of the updates that we had not talked about before. We updated IKF to reflect other board approvals that we've done. So that there's, Pat, what do you think? Should I do this as the two separate sections or just bundle them as one?
While they're two separate sections, they really are connected. So I think it's fine if you bundle it as one.
Yeah. So these are going to represent E and F of the IKF section 3 of the IKF policy, and they focus on what we call certificate of completion, which is for students that who have attended full-time for 4 years or more at Gardner High School, but have not been able to complete the credit requirements that we as the board have set forth, are eligible for a certificate of completion. The change that we're looking to do actually would actually remove, currently the policy indicates that the board would have to functionally review the credits and academic performance of a given student who petitions for this certificate of completion. And the proposed change would actually remove that responsibility from the board and change it to phrase the principal or the IEP team specifically to review and issue a certificate of completion. So what that does is just basically the principal and the IEP team are better positioned, and that's individualized education program team, are better positioned to review the academic performance of the students who have not been able to complete the full credit requirements, but have completed to the best of their ability all the goals they set forth in their plan. Additionally, the principal, an example would be that if, so one example I just mentioned is IEP or 504 plan. Additionally, the principal would be able to say, like, if someone sustained an injury and was not able to complete the credits, but substantially met their other goals in attendance and participation, the principal would be able to say, let's honor this person with this transition, recognition. It's not a diploma, but it is a certificate of completion. So E changes it from the board doing that to the principal and the IEP team. That's part one here. Part two is actually, and this is the important part for this year's graduation, that right now the policy is written that only students that complete the credit requirements are eligible to participate in the graduation. For this section, it will be section F of subsection F of part 3. This would allow for students identified by the team as eligible for a certificate of completion to participate in the graduation once determined eligible for that participation by administration and school leadership. And what that does is, again, honors students who have put in the full-time attendance over 4 years and have met their goals and substantially participated, but would allow for a screening process to rule out students that have chosen not to participate. They can't just petition for this certificate and get there. This puts an administrative screening process in there for that. So there's sort of two parts to it. It would add in the administrative process and add in the eligibility for participation in the graduation process for certificate of completion students. So if I could just get a quick thumbs up or thumbs up to approve, yes, we're going to go forward with this in a full first reading at our next board meeting. But just a heads up, a thumbs up that yes, let's go forward with this so we can do it for this year's graduation. Superintendent, would you call the roll?
I don't know that I need to call a roll at this point. I mean, I see a lot of thumbs up. It seems pretty clear to me that the board is generally supportive. It's about inclusiveness, right? And it's about making sure that we're inclusive and recognizing all of our students who are able to achieve the goals that they have set forth. So it is not for, as Tony said, for a student who is just trying to go through the ceremony without doing the work necessary. It's about those students who have really done all they can and who have met their goals. So great. I don't see anyone not agreeing with that. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
That seems like a change that really makes sense. I think that's really good. So thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Becky, before you move on to student representatives, I know that Jim had his hand raised and we moved past him. No, you're all set, Jim? Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Student reps, please.
Yeah, hi. So, as you guys know, we have done or established cohort D, so there are more kids in school now. And personally, being someone who's in cohort D, I have absolutely loved being in the building with more people. It has been everything that I hoped it would be to see all of my friends that I haven't been able to see through school. So that has been really amazing, and the energy has felt really, really awesome in the building. Like it seems like people are very happy to be there, so I'm very thankful for that. Also, spring sports seasons are in full swing. Me personally, on the lacrosse team, we're coming off a 19-8 win over Coney, so that felt really nice, and so things are going well for that. Also, we have the spring theater show, The Mouse That Roared, going on right now. That is tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. So that's going well too. And it's just truly, I can't say enough how amazing it's been just to have as many people in the building as we can, especially with how hard everything has been and how dreary things have looked at times. To see more smiling faces, even if it's behind a mask, has been really, really uplifting. So yeah, that's what I have.
Great. Thank you, Quentin. Gwen?
Yeah. So National Honor Society did a trail cleanup, and we are also looking at co-president and a secretary for next year. Also, there's another spring sport that I'm involved in, which is track, and I'm really enjoying it. It's super fun. It's great to get outside. The girls won points overall for one of our meets, and we came, I think, in second for the other one. So we're doing pretty good. It's exciting. And there's the play, which is, I think the show week is this upcoming week. I'm pretty sure. I haven't seen the flyer yet, but keep an eye out for that.
And Gwen, track is sponsoring a 5K pretty soon, aren't you?
We are. It's really exciting. Now, there will be a lot of track kids out there showing directions and pointing the right way. And I think there will be a couple of them running it. So
great. So any board member who's interested in a 5K, it's going to be I think it starts at the Common. I think walking is acceptable as well for those who want to walk and not run.
Is it a run walk?
I think so.
Good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. Thank you, Gwen. Wellness Committee, there was no meeting. Ad hoc committees, the Turf Committee. We continue to meet.
Becky, there is a hand raised.
Oh, where?
Teresa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes.
Hi, that's okay. I was just wondering if anybody was going to mention the dinner in the Tiger Den fundraiser. That sounds pretty good.
That's going to be mentioned next under the Turf Committee.
Okay. Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
It sounds really good though. Thank you.
Fine. So we continue to meet each week. The slip form is complete. The new goal sleeves have been installed. The McGee company is working on the final grade. We are hopeful that our carpet will be installed. We're continuing to be in contact with New England Turf, to the HERA organization, to solidify exactly when the turf will be installed, but we're really looking forward to it. There is a dinner coming up in the Tiger's Den, and Chad and Nate have been the masterminds behind this event. So I'm going to ask them if I'm going to put them on the spot and ask them to please sell us on why we need to participate in this fabulous event. Go men.
Chad, you want me to do it?
Go ahead, Nate.
All right.
You're the
So we've
chef.
got Chef Mike Flynn is going to be cooking all the meals. We've got a great menu. We're going to fix up the Tiger's Den. If anybody has ever seen the Tiger's Den, it's an outdoor area right in the middle of the high school where we've got pear trees and flowers, and we had landscaping company come in last year and really neaten the place up. So it looks really nice. We're going to have string lights on the trees, and we're going to have tables out there with fine linens and nice china. We're going to have music played by one of our own coaches, Pat Caldwell, and Quentin Martin, I believe, is going to be singing live. Isn't that right, Quentin? Yes, it is. And I think Pat's daughter is.
Yeah, I've been invited.
I heard you've got some pipes, so that's great.
Thanks.
So Quentin's going to be singing. I think Pat Caldwell's daughter is going to be singing as well. And some of the items on the menu are, we have prime rib, we have a Thai chicken, we have, for appetizers, we have like a country pate and stuffed mushrooms. And then for dessert, we have strawberry shortcake and a chocolate ganache. So it's pretty upscale. The tickets are $50 a piece. All of the food items have been donated. Weston's Beef donated 2 full prime ribs that will create about 50 servings, and some other local companies have also donated. There's salmon on the menu, which Hollowell Seafood has donated all the portions of salmon that are ordered. So it's really a great community effort that everybody's putting forth. And right now we've sold about 20. Actually, since I updated things yesterday, we sold another 4 tickets. So I think we're at 29 tickets right now, and we hope to sell more.
Thank you, Nate. And it's $50 per person, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And how many persons can be in a party?
As many as we can fit. We feel we can safely fit, by keeping tables 6 feet apart, we can safely fit about 50 people in the Tiger's Den, and still keeping tables 6 feet apart.
And they're
So-
the long tables, is that?
We do have some long tables. We have some round tables. We have some smaller tables. So whatever we get for reservations, we'll kind of take a look and see how we're going to configure the tables.
And there are 2 seatings, right? One at 6 o'clock and one at 8 o'clock. So you can accommodate up to 100 reservations.
That's correct.
Jim has his hand raised.
Yes, and so does Matthew, but Jim and then
Oh,
Matthew.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Nate, if you need any tables or more chairs, just tell me what you need and I'll supply all you need.
Okay, thanks, Jim. That's great.
And so anyways, just give me a call. Let me know. I've got plenty of them.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Matthew and then Teresa.
So count me in for 2, but how do we pay? Is there a link?
Yeah, great question. You can go on the Gardner Area High School Athletics Facebook page, or you could go on the Gardner Regional Middle School Facebook page, Athletics Facebook page. There's a link there, and you can just click on the link and it will take you right to how you order your food and you pay all at once. So it's through My School Bucks where the purchase can be made. And if you can't find it, Matt, just send me an email and I'll send you the link personally. In addition to that, what I forgot to mention is that there's also a silent auction for both seatings as well. And Katie Mishu has been helpful in getting donations for that silent auction, and she's got some pretty cool items. So I'm excited to see that all come together as well.
Do you have any idea what some of the items are?
I do have an email with those items, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember them being pretty cool. Like, I'd want some.
And I believe, Nate, that people can go to the district website as well, or go to the athletic under Gardner Area High School website.
I don't have it on
Athletic
the website yet. I can put that on the website tomorrow, but I have it primarily on the athletics Facebook page, and on the Gardner Regional Middle School Athletics Facebook page. We also have it on our high school Facebook page as well. That was
Okay.
today.
Right.
I registered from the website though, so I know it's
Oh,
there.
you did? Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. Then maybe
So-
Christina put it there. Good for her.
Yeah.
Perfect. Matthew.
Yeah, did I miss something? Was that 2 nights or just 1?
One night, 2 seatings, one at 6 p.m. and one at 8 p.m. And that's on
Okay,
Saturday, June 5th. The rain date is Sunday, June 6th.
I get confused easily. Thank you.
And we're also going to have our athletes, our underclassmen athletes, who are going to be playing on that turf field, help out with bussing tables and serving meals and all of that kind of stuff to help them or to get them involved in this process as well.
Nice. Teresa. You're muted.
I believe it's also posted on Friends of Gardner page. I think that's where I saw it.
Yes, I
We'll
believe.
share the link to you.
Okay. Yep. That'd be great.
Great.
There is also the other fundraiser is the brick purchase. So people can continue to purchase bricks for the recognition wall. The small size brick is $100. And it
$150.
goes up $150. I'm sorry,
Yep.
$150, $250, $500, and then up. Correct?
Yes, the 4x8 bricks are 150. The 8x8 bricks are 250, and the 12x12 bricks are $500.
Fantastic. Thank you. Jim, is your hand up again? You're all good? Okay. Well, board members, this is a great opportunity to see each other and even to meet in person, some of you whom we have not ever met before, except in the grocery store, masked and not recognizing each other. So it's a wonderful opportunity to see each other. I would encourage anyone who has the capacity to do it, to please
And Andrea just put in the comment section the link to the dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrea.
And is there a deadline to purchase the tickets?
Yes, it's May 30th, I believe, is the deadline.
Okay, great. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to see people and to support Gardner athletics and I don't know, a little celebration, get outside.
Yeah, should be a fun night. I'm looking forward to it.
I think that will be just great. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Nate and Chad, for all the hard work on this one. Appreciate it. General information.
General information is as written. However, I do want to add a little bit under Matt Colvin. As you may recall, probably 2-3 months ago, notified you that Matt Colvin was resigning, that I had accepted that resignation. He has come back and he asked if you could rescind it. It's not something I normally allow, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware that I did allow it for 1 year due to some special circumstances that he described that were really COVID related, that prevented him from accessing information that he really needed to make an informed decision. So I just wanted to make that clear. It's not normal practice. I even worked with the association to make sure that they understood that it's non-precedent setting. But because I had notified you of the resignation, I felt like it was necessary for me to notify you that I allowed him to rescind it.
Okay. Any questions from board members? And again, this is not precedent setting. It's just something that needed to happen this time. So, all right. Nominations.
Sure, we are in hiring season. All right, we are all busy. We are all involved in participating in numerous interview committees. We have committees occurring at the building level, at the district level, and we're trying to frantically hire as quickly as we can. Many school districts, just like ours, are using federal dollars to increase the number of staff members that they employ over the next couple of years as a way of trying to provide greater supports for our teachers, but also to decrease class sizes. That means we're all competing for the same key top candidates. This week already, we had 2 finalists, our top candidates, getting ready to offer them the position, and another school district beat us by, in one case, like an hour. And so please know that we're moving forward as quickly as we can to get through this process to make sure all of our positions are filled with top quality people. So I do have 4 individuals here tonight to recommend to you for classroom positions, but I also feel like it's really important for you to know the frenzy that's going on behind the scenes to hire and fill these positions. I have 3 interviews tomorrow for positions. And I am concerned that your next meeting isn't scheduled until the first week of June, right? I can't just sit on these candidates until June because we're not going to be able to keep them if we don't issue them a contract. So one of the things I do want to bring to your attention is the need to either have another emergency school board meeting within the next couple weeks so that I can bring another slate of candidates to you, or the other thing that you've done in the past is during the summer months, you give me the authority to issue contracts. Whether that's something that you want to do right now, either or, it will work. But I do need to have some direction from you and really bring this urgent matter to your attention. So I'm not sure, Becky, what your preference is, one way or the other. If it's to give me the authority, that would require a vote. If not, then we just need to be prepared to come back here in a couple weeks for a very brief meeting, I would think. I don't think it would have to be very long, so that I could bring some additional candidates to you for approval.
I know that this time of year is so busy, and we have this conversation every year, and we don't want to risk losing an excellent candidate because we can't get people together. And we could certainly make a plan and say, yes, we'll all be available, but who knows if we'll be able to get a quorum. So I know that in the past we have trusted you to do this work. And I think that's probably the most expedient way to accomplish this task. And I don't think it's ever gone awry. So I'm happy to suggest that we give you the authority to do this. I open it up to board members and board member. I know we have a lot of new board members, but board members who have been on the board for a bit longer. Do you have any discomfort or any comments you'd like to make?
Jim has his hand raised.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Go ahead.
There we go. Yeah, we're going to be making this decision in 30 days. We've always done it for the summer. I think it's critical to get people hired if we've got them. I don't want to wait even 2 weeks. If it makes no sense. If we've got a good candidate, we need to hire them, not try to put it on an agenda for even 3 or 4 days from now. As you're saying, you lost a good candidate for 1 hour.
Right.
I think we should go ahead and give Pat the authority to hire. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else want to offer? Matthew.
Yeah, I echo everything Jim said. I think that we've given Pat the responsibility of hiring folks in the past. She's done a really good job at that. I think she's really good at it. So there's really no reason to change things. So do whatever you need to do, Pat, as far as I'm concerned. I know we're going to need to vote on it, but I'd be thumbs up.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone? Oh, yes, Matthew Lillibridge.
Just to
You
be
also have Alyssa.
I also agree with Jim and Maddie, and vote to give Pat the authority.
Great. Alyssa?
Yeah, ditto. Sorry, I'll just join in.
Great. Okay, well then, what I'll do is then look for a motion and a second. And the motion is that we give the superintendent the authority beginning now. And Pat, can we make it to go through the entire summer for all the summer hires so we don't need to do it again in June?
Yes, we can, with the understanding that anyone that I hire between now and June will still be on the agenda. So you will get to see and officially vote on all of them. You'll just be voting kind of out of order or after the fact. Okay.
Yes. So that motion would be then that we give the superintendent until June, the authority to do the hires right now and then through the summer. And at the June meeting, any hires will come to us for our approval.
I'll make that motion that we give Pat the authority through the summer to hire as she can find a good candidate, and whatever she brings to us in June will be fine. And we'll just do the final approval for the others first meeting next year.
I'll second
Thank you.
Long motion.
Long motion. And a second by Voni, by Voni Teat, by Tony.
I was going to, but I think it was Matt Marshall actually made the second.
Okay, great. You know what's difficult tonight? I made my screen really big and so I can see all the squares and there's no order. So I'm having a really hard time finding you guys. You're in the abyss. So second by Matthew Marshall. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Becky Flass.
Yay.
Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matt Lillibridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medore.
Yay.
Matt Marshall.
Yay.
Cullen McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veit.
Yay.
Quentin Martin.
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc-Ignatiak.
Yay.
Great. Thank you all. I appreciate that vote of confidence. And we will absolutely move forward with those hirings as quickly as we can. So that brings us back to the actual nominations, and we have 4. for positions. I tried to provide you with information on the funding source in these, since we are hiring so many staff members using federal dollars, and those are temporary positions, either 1 year or 2 year. I tried to distinguish that so that you could see which ones are coming out of the budget and are permanent positions versus those who are temporary. Really excited about these 4 candidates. They come to us with great experience, either from an ed tech experience, being in the classroom with our students already, and so they're kind of making the transition from an ed tech position who's been with us for a while into a teaching position. So that's exciting. And then we have a couple other people from out of district joining us who we think will be a great addition to our MSAD11 team.
Great. So may I have a motion to accept these 4 positions?
This is Alyssa. I'll make that motion to accept 4 positions as listed.
Thank you, Alyssa. And a second, please.
Tony, second.
Thank you. Any further questions or conversation for the superintendent? Pat, would you read the roll?
Sure. Becky Fless?
Yay.
Veronica Babcock?
Yay.
Teresa Garrett?
Yay.
Matt Lillybridge?
Yay.
Jim Lothridge?
Yay.
Nicole Medor?
Yay.
Matt Marshall?
Yay.
Cullen McGuff?
Yay.
Patrick Saucier?
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy?
Yay.
Tony Veet?
Yay.
Quinton Martin?
Yay.
Gwen Boldick Ignatiak?
Yay.
Great, thank you. The next group, oh, Teresa, I'm sorry, do you have your hand raised?
Yes, just a quick question. Wondering who the people are that you hired and what schools they'll be working at.
Sure, the people who I've hired are listed on the agenda, and they say where they're going to be. So we have Dominic Foster, who's in grade 7, social studies. It's a 2-year position at Gardner Regional Middle School. We have Chad Greenleaf, 6th grade social studies teacher for a 1-year position, also at the middle school. Kristen Prey in special education is at the high school. That is a federally funded position. And then Jessica Merrill, special ed teacher, also at the high school.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome. The next group of nominations are existing staff members, and they are those who were hired last year, moving from their first year probationary status to a 2nd year probationary contract. Those who were on a 2nd year contract for probationary status, moving them to a 3rd year, and those who were on 3rd year, moving them to a continuing contract. I want to make sure that I'm clear that as a reminder, the law has changed regarding probationary status. So any staff member who was hired this year, they only have a 2-year contract or a 2-year probationary period. The 3-year probationary period has disappeared. Next year is the last year, so you won't see a 3rd year next year when we go through this process. In addition to our teaching staff, we also have administrators whose contracts are up. And as a reminder, administrators, they're given 2-year contracts. And so you can see the slate of administrators who are up, and I recommend that they receive another 2-year contract. And at this time, we do not have any administrators on a 1-year contract.
Fantastic. Thank you.
So we would need nomination for, a motion for all of those.
I see,
people.
yes, I see. And we can do that in one blanket, yes?
Yeah, that would be great, Becky.
Yes, Jim.
I do have a question. Those teachers that are in their 2nd year now, they will get actually a continuing contract after this year. Is that correct, Pat?
People who were hired this year have a 2-year contract. I think the individuals going into their second year, I think they have 1 more year. I think they will have a 3rd-year contract, right?
Yeah.
Administrators who are with me, am I right? It gets a little confusing. Yes, I see heads shaking. So those who are on the 2nd-year probationary contract, Jim, they will be here next year for a 3rd year. That information I gave you was wrong. Anyone we're hiring this year will only have a 2-year contract.
Okay, thank you. I knew there was a change coming. I just didn't fully understand the process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa? You're muted.
Sorry, I forgot to put it down.
Oh, okay. All right. So we still need a motion.
I move it's Tony. I move we accept the proposed staffing as a bundle.
Second.
I second that.
Okay, Teresa. Seconding. Pat, would you any further questions, conversation?
Yes, Becky Fless,
Yes, yay.
Veronica Babcock,
Yay.
Teresa Garrett,
Yay.
Matthew Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Madore,
Yay.
Matthew Marshall,
Yay.
Cullen McGuff, Cullen McGuff,
I'm sorry, yay.
thank you. Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony V,
Yay.
Quentin Martin,
Yay.
Gwen Boldick Ignaziak.
Yay.
Great. It's unanimous, Becky.
Great, thank you. Okay, moving on to old business.
Okay. All right, old business. So under old business, we have update on the MSAD11 instructional models. All right, as Quentin has already mentioned earlier on, and Gwen, we have increased the number of students in attendance, as you know, at the high school and the middle school. It was supposed to begin immediately after vacation, but with our county being designated as yellow, it was decided that we should hold off for 1 week. And so students began this week. So what I would like to have tonight is Mr. Kempton, the principal of Gardner Area High School, and Mr. LePerriere, the principal of the middle school, are both prepared to give you a little bit of an update on how this week has gone. We've been most concerned about our ability to transition additional students into the buildings, into those 2 buildings specifically. And so they are prepared to give you an update and let you know how it's going. So Chad, I can see you in front of me. So would you like to begin?
Sure. So the transition so far, we've been in session for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and today. I think it's gone very well. It's actually great to have more of the kids, not all of the kids, back into the building. Hopefully we'll get to the point where we have all of our kids back in the building, but it's gone very well. Kids have been great. Staff have made comments to me that it's nice to have more kids in their classrooms. There's better conversations, better discussions. Obviously, it's easier to work with people when they're in person than when they're on the computer or online. So everything so far has been very positive. We had to make some adjustments for lunches. We had to buy some additional 6-foot tables, and we've got tables in the cafeteria, tables in the front lobby of T-Wing. We've got tables in the hallways between the cafeteria and the main lobby, and we have tables in the main lobby area. And kids are sitting 6 feet apart. I think they like it. A lot of them are near the windows, so they get, when the sun's shining, they get the warmth of the sun. We've also opened up the Tiger's Den, which is right in the main lobby area, and then the area off of the cafeteria, which we commonly refer to as the Gopher's Den, because we have a nice little family of gophers that like to frequent that place and visit with the kids. So, but we have chairs out in both of those areas, so kids can go out there and eat during their lunches. And kids are, as I said, kids are handling it very well. As of 2:30 today, we have 348 kids in our cohort D, which is the 4 days of in-school, in-person school. We have 174 in the C cohort, which is the remote, 4 days a week online. 60 kids in cohort B, and that's one of the hybrids, and they're online for Monday and Tuesday and in the building on Thursday and Friday. And then 54 kids in cohort A, and that's just the opposite of the previous hybrid, that they're in the building on Monday and Tuesday and remote on Thursday and Friday. So overall, everything, as I said, is going well. And we've had a little bit of adjustments going on over this week. We've had some kids that initially intended to be in one particular cohort. Some wanted to be in cohort D and then have backed off to A, B, or C. And we've had some kids that initially wanted to be in one of the hybrids and then decided to bring themselves back into D. So Jackie and Jared and myself are looking at each of the classrooms to make sure that we're not overloading anyone's classrooms as we're making those adjustments. And we've had a couple situations where kids have had one or two of their classes where numbers were more than what the capacity of the room would be. And an example, we have a young lady that is in Jen Boudreau's classroom that I talked to today, and they went from a particular cohort to D, but Jen's classroom was overbooked. So that student sat in the T-wing lobby at one of the cafeteria tables and did the course online from outside the classroom in the lobby. We've got some other kids that are in one of our science classes that's overloaded, and they're in a classroom across the hallway with an ed tech. And so they're participating online just across the hallway. So trying to squeeze as many kids in as possible. And when there's one or two overloads, we're doing a workaround, coming up with a plan B so that we can get as many kids in the building as possible without, squeezing too much. So kids have been great, teachers have been great. I have no concerns right now whatsoever.
That's great.
I see that Matt Marshall has a question.
Yes, Matthew.
Chad, I just wanted to thank you and your team. I mean, it's very innovative. Instead of saying no, you figured it out, and it actually really makes sense to give them the opportunity to maybe sit in the cafeteria with their laptop, and at least they're at school. So thank you very much for thinking out of the box and not immediately saying no and figuring it out. So thank you.
Generally, where there's a will, there's a way, Matt. Thank you, though.
All right, John is here. If John,
Yeah,
could you give an update on the status of the middle school?
I can. And I know I've said this a million times, but I am living the dream. I actually feel like a middle school principal because we have kids in the building. And I'll give you an update with the numbers. Currently, we have on a given day between 287 and 299 kids in the building, which is fantastic. And we're probably going to break 300 in a day or so because I've had a few more requests. And I think that we can fit them in places. We do a lot like the high school. We have to look at not just the homeroom classroom, but will they fit in the allied arts as well? So, and we've adjusted some of those to make it work for families. So it's been fantastic. And one of the challenges I thought we would have is the cafeteria, but we can fit 66 students in a cafeteria at once. We have 6 lunches, as you probably know. And that's 6 feet apart, physically distant, wearing a mask if they're having a conversation. So that's fantastic. Just hearing the kids, they are so excited. We usually have around 20 of them sitting outside at the picnic tables on a beautiful day, which is great. One of my biggest concerns was, as you know, we're on Cavesy Avenue, right off the turnpike. So one of my biggest concerns was traffic. And I will tell you, I came in at 5:15 that morning, heart racing, scared to death of what we were going to have on Cavesy. However, it was smooth as can be. And then, of course, I was nervous for the rest of the day, looking at 2 o'clock. The clock got to that time, and we had 7 cars at most on Cavesy Avenue waiting. The parents did what they needed to do. A couple comments I got from parents is, hey, they're in 4 days a week. We can wait. But it went really smooth. The kids are happy. One 7th grade girl, I asked her on Monday, do you like having all these kids back? She said, I need a little bit more time to evaluate it. I asked her on Tuesday, and she said, I love it. So kids are glad to see their friends. They're glad to be hanging out with each other. And the interesting thing is, with the mask mandate outside being lifted, if you're 6 feet apart, most kids are wearing their masks because, middle school kids like to be social and close to each other. So they're wearing their masks 3 feet apart rather than taking them off. So it has been a joy for teachers. They are happy. They are able to focus on kids in the classroom, and they have very few on the computer looking at them and learning from there. And so they are really, really pleased. And when I try to make adjustments with a kid wanting to come back, most of the teachers say, yeah, we have space. Let's do it, because they want to bring the kids back. So it's been great.
Thank you, John. Could you provide specific numbers?
Yeah.
Because I think it's really important for the board to know how we're breaking down the number of students who are in 4 days a week, the number who are still in remote, because this is important information as we plan for next year.
Yeah, so we have 266 in cohort D. We have 90 fully remote, and that was down to 83. But as we got closer, and then when we had that little snafu where the district went, not the district, but the county went to yellow, we had a couple people jump back into C. We have 21 in cohort B and 33 in cohort A. So the cohort A and B kids are really small. The numbers are very small, but the cohort C is at 90 right now.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Becky, there are a couple people with questions.
Matthew and then Jim.
Sorry, I didn't.
Matt.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have a question? Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, great. Jim?
Yeah, it's kind of mostly for Chad, but possibly John could give me some input too. What is the rationale for having a blended, still having cohort A and cohort B where they're only in the building 2 days a week, and having the rest of the kids either 100% remote? I understand that one, and I understand 100% in, but what is the reasoning for still having those blended programs?
Well, and Chad, correct me if I'm wrong. Chad and I talked about offering, consistency for families, and some families have been in cohort A and cohort B all year, and that works for them. Another piece of it is capacity. I really had to balance the Monday, Tuesday, and the Thursday and Friday to make sure we didn't pass capacity in classrooms, with kids 3 feet apart. So, there were a couple of reasons for it. And at least for me, I know the numbers worked to my advantage in order to bring kids back. But that was a conversation Chad and I had. And Chad?
Yeah, I would say the same thing, that the 54 cohort A kids that are in school on Monday and Tuesday and then remote on Thursday and Friday, for one reason or another, that's what they and their families are comfortable with, of getting in and being in person for a couple of days, but are still a little bit gun shy about being there 4 days a week. It helps us with capacities, as John said. So I think it's a happy medium. It serves the purpose for the families, and we get them for at least part of the week. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.
So it balances out our ability to distribute the students appropriately and keep ourselves social distancing. Is I can see where that would be a major help.
Yeah, some of those classrooms with those kids, if they were to be in the cohort D 4 days a week, that may bubble those classrooms over. It may not. I mean, ours is a little bit more complicated than anyone else's because every kid's schedule is unique to themselves versus traveling in teams and so forth. But the bigger part is that it's what the family and what the kid is comfortable with right now. And given the pandemic, if they're comfortable being 2 days a week, I'd much rather take that than them being remote 4 days a week.
I agree. Are you thinking that possibly next year we'll be looking at more in person and less blended?
We are going to talk about that a little bit further on in the agenda, Jim.
Okay,
So we
then
may
I
be
will
able to
leave.
answer your question later.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. While we're here, can I fold in Gabe, since Gabe is on the line? Transportation has been a major concern of ours, of course. And I think Gabe, we're in a position where he has found additional drivers, or some drivers are in the works. So we have a couple who are training. So while we may not fill all of our vacancies, we're certainly looking better than we did a while back. But Gabe, are you right there? Can you give an update on how this week has gone for you and your drivers?
Sure. Yeah, we've actually found that the numbers have been a little bit lower than what we had anticipated, which is a good thing, considering there's still some bus runs that we have combined together because of the shortage of drivers. We have hired one new driver so far. We have another one right now that they're in the works of training. He hopefully will get his license very soon. That'll be great. We're still cutting it really close with the numbers that we have for drivers and the numbers of students that we have on. But right now we're holding it all together, and the numbers look good. If everybody was to come back to school and all the parents decided not to transport in, we would be in a different state for sure. We would be in trouble. But right now, numbers are holding well, and we are still hoping to get a couple more drivers hired. We're in the works that we have 2 more that have their permit booklets that are working on getting their permits. And then once they get their permit, we can train them in the yard. So with those 2 others, I believe we would be maybe only 1 to 2 short after that. So that's good. Step in the right direction, definitely. Yep.
Great. Thank you, Gabe. So that's what we have for an update for instructional models.
Great progress.
Okay.
Yeah, making great progress. Update on plans for graduation.
Yes, I've asked Mr. Kempton to give you an update on where things stand for graduation. There's also a prom. I've asked him to kind of throw in an update on the planning for that. In addition, I thought that you might want to hear from John to hear what the middle school plans are for their grade 8 recognition. And then the elementary administrators are right now in the planning stages to do their end of the year celebration. So they don't have an update right now, but those conversations are indeed occurring. So Mr. Kempton, would you kick us off?
Sure. So graduation is going to be on June 12th, and we are fortunate enough to be able to have it inside the Civic Center this year instead of outside in the parking lot, although outside in the parking lot was a big hit last year. thanks to Pat and Becky joining me on stage up there in the corner of the parking lot. But so we're going to be inside, which is great. We met with the staff up at the Civic Center the other day, and actually we're going up again tomorrow to go over the contract and look at the layout. They are reformatting the layout of the big auditorium so that we can get more seating. Typically, when you walk in, the stage is right in front of you, and now it's going to be off to the right so that they can have all sets of bleachers out. They have some guidelines that we have to follow that are a little bit more than what the school has to follow, because they're what they consider to be a commercial venue. So everybody, including our graduates, have to be 6 feet apart. And so with the floor seating, with the floor plan, we can have pods of 5 people per family, and we can host up to 138 families in those pods. And each of those sections, if you were to look at the floor plan, roughly have 14 seats in each row. So the rows will be 5 seats for, let's just say, Quentin's family, and then there'll be 4 empty seats, and then there would be 5 seats for Ms. Hopkins' family. And each of those seats have to be identified as to who is going to be sitting in them. So we have to gather a list of all of the attendees in case there is a COVID situation and they have to do contact tracing. So that's going to be a pretty significant undertaking for us, in that for all of our graduates, we're going to have the names of every person that is coming to the event, and we are going to have to assign them seats and provide that to the Civic Center by, I want to say, the end of this month. So I'm in the process of putting out a letter to get people to give us the names of their guests, and we'll start putting that together. So the interesting thing is the 6 feet apart for the families, and the way the rows are set up. So we'll go seat people in row 1, and then we have to skip rows 2 and 3, and then we can seat people in row 4, skip 5 and 6, go to row 7, and all the way up through. So their capacity is 903, and given 5 per family at 138 families, plus about 130 some odd graduates and 20 some odd staff members to help people get to where they need to be, we're going to be just under that 900, probably around the 860 range. So that'll be an important thing. All the tickets have to be numbered and with names on them. So again, my administrative assistants are going to be in high gear for the month of May. The graduates have to sit 6 feet apart. And you can imagine with 130 some odd graduates, that's going to be a pretty interesting setup on the floor. Providing the 6 feet, they're going to be 13 rows of 10 seats with a center aisle of 12 feet apart. And I was measuring it out, it's about 78 feet between the front row and the back row. So that's just about the length of a basketball court. So they're going to be at large and spread out down on the floor. And we're going to go through basically the same process that we typically do. We're going to recognize kids for their honors and awards and go through that process and make graduation as normal as possible. Obviously abiding by the guidelines that we have to, both ours and the Civic Centers. After graduation, the City Council of Gardner approved our request to have a parade of the graduates, as we did last year. That will start soon after graduation ends out at the business park, come down 201 down into town. And then we are going to follow that with a fireworks display on the waterfront. So that was a big hit last year, and I've got a group of parents. They call themselves the Mamas 2021, and I affectionately refer to them as kind of like a biker gang. But this group of people, there's about 30 of them, and they're fantastic people. They have raised a little over $18,000 to support graduation and the celebrations for this class. Just a phenomenal group of go-getters to help make this happen. So I am super grateful to that group. I've been meeting with them on Wednesday nights for about the past month, and they've just done a terrific job with helping us make this happen. So a shout out to the Mamas 2021 for all of your help. Very much appreciated. And that's it for graduation. Now, Pat, you've got your finger up.
Yes, there's one more thing you were going to mention. You were going to mention the protocols students were now going to follow for marching in, that you're changing how that process is going to be conducted.
Yep. So typically we've come in from 3 different areas. The way that the auditorium was set up, we're going to come in from 2 areas, basically off to the left. We are going to line students up by height, regardless of whether their gender is male, female. We're just going to get them lined up shortest to tallest. The rationale for that is that the shorter folks can sit in the front and they wouldn't block the view of a taller person, where if somebody's 6'6" and they're sitting in the front row, they're probably going to block out most of the stage for somebody that's 5'2". So we'll be marching them in. They'll come in and peel off to 2 rows of 5 all the way back through. And is that what you were looking for, Pat?
I was specifically looking for you to explain why you were not going to have the rows broken down by male and female.
Yeah, just with the gender identity changes that are happening in society and in our school, to be respectful of how everyone identifies, whether it's male, female, or otherwise, we're just going by height. And so we used to do a lineup of the girls and a lineup of the boys. And that's just where we're trying to be, or we are being conscious of that and being respectful of everyone's personal wishes. So we decided to just go with the height.
Jim, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question, or is that from before? You're muted, Jim. Oh, you're all set. Okay.
So prom is going to be on June 4th. We are having a prom this year. We missed out on that last spring. It's going to be on June 4th. It's going to be from 7 o'clock to 9:30. So we're reducing the time frame down a little bit. We actually measured out the gym per square foot, and we came up with a number of 220 that we can have in the gym safely. And that's based on a 5 foot by 5 foot square, so to speak, so that everyone can socially distance. We are going to obviously require masks, and we'll do hand sanitizing at the door, and we'll do the temperature checks at the door for safety protocols. It is a optional event, and we're treating it very similar to theater productions and athletics, where kids have the option or the choice of either attending or not. And we'll follow as many guidelines, or the guidelines as best we can. Obviously, given that it is a dance, so for everyone to stay 3 feet apart is going to be a challenge, and it'll be really a personal choice. I've had conversations with superintendent, and I've had conversations with the school nurses. And I think I can speak for everyone, is that we want this to happen for the kids. They've lost a lot over the past year and a half, and where this is an optional event. If people are not comfortable participating, they certainly don't have to, and we respect that. And if people want to participate, and they're going to follow the guidelines that we have in place, and we'll be as safe as possible. We've got about 100 tickets sold so far. We opened them up for seniors first, and today we just opened them up for juniors, and so now we're starting to get some decent numbers.
And this event is only for Gardner area high school students.
Yes.
We're not allowing them to bring in students or friends from other area school districts. So thank you, Mr. Kempton. I appreciate that. Mr. LaPerriere, just briefly, can you share what you guys are doing for 8th grade recognition?
Yeah, and it's definitely more simplistic and brief. We're doing a daytime recognition ceremony for our 8th graders. It will only be the students. We're starting it right around Falcon time. That way it takes up Falcon time and the Allied Arts time for the 8th grade, so we don't interfere with instruction. We are working to have the cohort A and cohort C students dropped off. I'm going to be sending correspondence out to families this coming week, but I'm meeting with Team Allagash and Team Bigelow's team leaders this coming week, and we're going to try to sort things out. We will have the students 6 feet apart in the gymnasium. Gym class for that part of the day will be outside, but we'll have the students 6 feet apart in the gymnasium. We're going to put a 12-foot wide center aisle for students to come down for for awards, just to keep the teams apart. We've kept teams separated all year. We haven't done any cross teaming at all, and so we'll have Bigelow on one side and Allagash on the other. And I do know that the teams are trying to plan something for the kids outside after it, just the kids and the teachers, and we're going to be working on that as we move forward. Brenda and I are having conversations about awards and getting all the awards organized and set up to give to students on that day. But that's where we are right now, and we're continuing to work and plan on it. And I'm going to be providing parents with correspondence next week about it.
Great. Thank you, John.
Pat, if I could just mention one thing I forgot, is that we will be doing an academic awards ceremony. We'll be broadcasting that live virtually using Munzing Media, and that'll be on June 2nd at 6 o'clock. It will not be an attendance event, and that it'll just be myself and my department chairs, and we'll be presenting the awards live online, and obviously the guests can join in remotely, and we'll get out those awards to the recipients following that event. We are not going to be having a class day. We went down to the gym. We typically have class day in the gym, and we looked at the seating arrangement to see how many people we could put in, hoping that we might be able to get 1 or 2 parents in the gym for an evening event. And we ended up coming up with about 16 family members per section out of the 4 sections. So we were at like 75 people, and with 130 some odd graduates, it just wasn't going to be something that we could pull off. So we're going to take all the awards and recognitions that are typically given out in class day, and we're going to put some of them into the academic awards, and we're going to put some of them into the graduation ceremony.
And Pat, if I could also share, I forgot to share that Munzing Media will be live streaming the recognition ceremony, and they will be recording it for families that aren't able to see it live stream.
Great. Thank you. We are so blessed to have Munzing Media, aren't we? Yes. I don't know what we would have done without them this year. I'm just so grateful. That's all that we have on that item, Becky.
Well, that's really great. Those are just great things that we're trying to do, and I really am so grateful for that. This group of kids has endured a lot, so I'm glad we're able to do what we can. New business.
Sure, we have a lot of new business tonight. I think it will go fairly quickly, but the first item is immediately following your last board meeting in April, it came to my attention that we have a JV girls lacrosse team with very low numbers. And according to policy, I think we talked about this last month with a different athletic team. With your policy, we have the ability to offer a kind of a one-year exemption to give them the opportunity to kind of rebuild. Because the sporting season had already begun and we couldn't wait a month to bring it back to the board, for your permission, I reached out to Becky and asked Becky, how do we proceed? And we agreed, or she agreed to kind of give me the authority to allow that exception to occur and to grant them the exemption through the policy to allow the JV girls lacrosse team to practice this year or play this year. So I'm bringing that to your attention, and officially you do need to take action. So I hope that you don't mind, or that you're okay with the fact that I granted that approval prior to bringing it to your attention.
I see Matthew's thumb is up, Jim's thumb is up, Tony's thumb is up, Nicole's thumb is up, Alyssa's thumb is up. Everywhere. I think our kids have endured enough. So this has been sort of a precedent-setting period of time, and anything we can do to help them be active, be outside. Now is not the time to for us to put the kibosh on anything. I think if we can, anything we can do.
Great. Are you thinking a motion is necessary, or are you okay, Becky, with just a thumbs up?
Yeah, I'm okay with a thumbs up. However, I think next year this could come up again and we could be in a different place. So it's always good for the record to keep it clean and clear. So I would entertain a motion that we have allowed for this to happen this year. And this is a one-year team, and that we will approach it again next year as needed.
I move we do that. We plan a waiver for this year for the JV girls lacrosse team and revisit it next year.
Thank you, Tony. May I have a second?
I don't know if I can I just add something real quick? I don't know if I can.
I first need to have a second before there's discussion.
Just a second. Okay, who is, I heard a
Second, Veronica.
Oh, thank you, Veronica. Where are you? I can't even see. There you are. Now, conversation.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure I added that the JV girls lacrosse team has always been a team. It just this year we dipped below the policy number for minimum amount of athletes to participate. So next year, if we have a sufficient amount of athletes, it wouldn't come to the board for approval. Okay, just want to make sure that we're clear.
Yes, I understood that, so it's good to have that explanation for the board, but we don't want to, it's just always good to keep the I's dotted and the T's crossed.
Right.
Yeah. Colin, you had a question?
Yeah, is this going to put any undue pressure on transportation that you don't feel solid about?
No, it's no additional transportation. They all travel together.
Good question. Yes, Tony?
I just wanted to ask if or Nate, maybe you can answer this. Do we think this is like reduced participation because of COVID?
Yeah, I do think so. I think numbers are down at high schools across the state, especially in lacrosse. I think we have a co-op with Halldale. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of girls from Halldale who've decided not to play this year for whatever reason. It's hard to get an accurate count unless you have an interview with every single student that's not playing. But I do believe that it's related to COVID somehow.
And I just wonder, because I would like to, return to some, pre-COVID levels of participation for all things, and I'm hoping to get there. I anticipate we will. But I also want to, be mindful that this year is somewhat aberrant, I guess, unique in that, you might predict that participation would drop off in a way that I feel like the policy was not necessarily intended for. That's more of just interest wanes, right? And we don't want to sustain this. This year, it just seems like there's other factors at play. And I don't know, I just want to be, mindful we can do a waiver now, but also to be thoughtful of what COVID has done.
Right.
And where we'll be next year. So it's good for us to just have this on our radar to keep watching. And I'm with you, Nate. I think lacrosse has become very popular, but we just need to watch, see what happens.
Sure.
Becky, can I further add? We haven't always had a JV girls lacrosse team. It goes back and forth between JV softball and JV lacrosse, girls lacrosse, depending upon the numbers. So it all depends on the kind of year we have and where the players are, and it fluctuates. So it just hasn't been a forever thing. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that. We budget one team and it goes to whoever is in need of the additional coach or additional team.
Thank you, Andrea. Other questions? So we have a motion and a second. Pat, would you please call the roll?
Becky Fless,
Yes.
Veronica Babcock,
Yay.
Teresa Garrett,
Yay.
Matthew Lillybridge,
Yay.
Jim Lothridge,
Yay.
Nicole Medor,
Yay.
Matt Marshall,
Yes.
Cullen McGuff,
Yay.
Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony V,
Yay.
Quinton Martin,
Yay.
Gwen Boldick Ignatiak.
Yay.
Great, that's unanimous, Becky.
Great, thank you, Pat. Okay, next is the consideration to allow graduates to keep their Chromebooks.
Yes, we've talked about this in the past, and Terry is here to present this concept and this proposal. Terry, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
We can't see you.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Ah, thank you. Cullen, is your hand up intentionally? Nope, okay.
Years ago, we started leaving the seniors with their laptops. And it started with knowing that if a student knew that they had to keep care of their laptop because they left with it, they would keep better care of it for 4 years, which would inevitably have us using less money to maintain the equipment. And so we started, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago with the MacBooks. This will be the first year with the Chromebooks. These Chromebooks, they got the Chromebook when they were a freshman. So this is year 4 with the Chromebook. And so the life of the Chromebook is maybe 1 to 2 years at most. But for some kids that are going to a community college or a regular college, this might give them a machine for a year or two. So, they have something to use when they leave. If we took this machine back, we would have to clean them, repair them, maintain the batteries. And so they're really of less value to us. The little kids, it's really hard because some of the elementary principals, when we take the machines that are used and put them into play, they really feel like they're being shortchanged because they're not nearly as reliable after they've been used pretty hard. So I would like to propose that we go ahead and let the seniors take their Chromebooks that they're currently using home if they graduate.
Question? If you take them, and I just want to be really clear about this, if you were to take them, clean them up, and reset them like they were back to factory settings, they would still last only 2 years. Is that correct? Only 2 more years?
Google has a lifespan for the operating system. And when we first bought those, they were like a 5-year lifespan, but they've since added on to that lifespan. And so it's about a 6-year. So right now it's about 2 extra years.
Okay, and that's what I understood to be true. I just wanted to be clear so that everyone understood that.
One of the things to consider is those Chromebooks cost us about $360 when we bought them
Right,
4 years ago.
4 years ago. Cullen and then Jim.
Thank you. Andrea, are those counted as an asset? And if so, do they depreciate over time? And what's their current value?
So they're actually counted as supplies. They don't meet the equipment threshold, and they're not on our financials.
Okay. I would support letting them keep them then.
Good question. Thank you, Cullen. Jim?
Yeah, I'm really in favor of letting them keep the Chromebooks. Not so much the fact that they're keeping them. I want to make sure we're buying new Chromebooks for the freshmen coming in so that we can keep them using the best, most up-to-date product that's available at the time. And then, because things change so quickly, you know, when they leave, frankly, there's very little value. We thought there was a $300 value in those MacBooks that we tried to sell 4 years ago, and that didn't pan out. So I just soon get these out and get us on a regular program to replace these every 4 years. And the ones that we don't give out, I don't care if you give them to a senior center. I don't want to see them recycled with the students. So that's my thought.
Teresa and then Matthew.
I was gonna make a motion that we approve Terry's great idea that for all students that graduate, they're able to keep their Chromebooks.
Thank you. Matthew?
I was just going to say that I think for the amount of money we paid for each Chromebook 4 years ago, we've certainly made our money back.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely support it.
Great. Thank you, Matt. So we have a motion. Can we have a second?
I'll second it, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa. Further questions? Anyone? All right then, Pat, would you please call the roll?
Sorry, I'll just make a heartfelt plea that some sort of message goes to seniors for those who don't want it, that it gets recycled appropriately.
Absolutely.
Those are a terrible source of e-waste if they don't go to a proper facility. They shouldn't go in the dumpster.
You're absolutely right, Colin. I was gonna mention that because with the MacBooks, you can actually, if you don't want it anymore, you can take it to the Apple store at the mall, and they will take them and make sure that they get to that they go to someplace great, and they will actually give you store credit. And I don't know if there's anything like that for these, but you're absolutely right. Please don't put them in the dumpster if you don't want them. Let's make sure they get someplace great and taken care of appropriately. Thank you, Terry. Teresa, is your hand up for something else, or okay? Seeing you vanish. So we have a motion and a second. Pat, would you please call the roll? You're muted. You're not muted. All right, everyone, read Pat's lips, and I'm going to say yes. Can't hear you. We got nothing. Nope.
Can we get Pat a new book?
Right, can we get a new book?
Pat, you go out of the meeting and come back in.
Don't anyone move. She'll be right back. Okay. Nobody misbehave while she's gone. Is it maybe your earbuds? Sometimes you're.
She's gone. She's probably working her way back in.
Pat, the other day, remember how this happened to me? I ended up having to go into settings, and it, for some reason, it muted my my output, and I just had to click on the unmute button in settings, and I never clicked on that, and it just kind of automatically did it for me.
Technology can be so puzzling. Terry, any suggestions?
There's nothing like a restart of the machine.
Oh my gosh.
Can we get Quentin to lead us in a song or something while we're waiting?
Hi.
You call and I'll restart mine.
Okay, I'm gonna. Needless to say, we're only feet apart. Okay, I need a pen. Is Angela here still?
I'm here virtually.
Hi, Angela. May I open a desk drawer and look for a pen?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thank you. Look, it's
There
not
should be one in there.
There is one right there.
Oh, good.
Oh, I have one. Thank you, Martha. Okay. Graduates keeping Chromebooks.
Because I don't know where the other drill bits are.
What's the matter?
Angie needs to drill something through.
Yeah, I know.
Marching. It's hard. I know. I just gotta find it.
All right. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Nancy's not here. Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medor.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGough.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veet.
Yay.
Quentin Martin.
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc Ignasiak.
Yay.
Becky, who is the second on the motion?
This
Was me, Andrea. It's Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Alyssa, you keep changing.
I know I'm in the middle of the road because my son's riding his bike, so I'm the traffic cop.
We are really multitasking tonight. This is sort of comical. I hope the public can bear with us while we're maybe a little punchy. Okay, next is the school budget. Oh, Pat, I see you're back.
Pat, can you call into the audio only on a landline or cell phone?
Does Google?
I'm gonna run upstairs.
Okay.
Pat, if you look under settings, there should be a use phone for audio option.
I didn't know Google Meet had that option. That's very cool. Pat, Tony just put something in the chat box.
She might not be able to see it, but we could read it to her.
Pat, in the chat box, Tony put, to join the video meeting, click this link. Otherwise, to join by phone, dial 1-678-801-8450 and enter this PIN, 278-974.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We'll have to figure this out. I don't know what happened. I was working fine and then it just stopped.
Is this what happened at policy?
No, I've been working all day. It's been fine. And
Okay.
I don't know. Now I have an echo.
I will mute.
Huh?
Pat, turn the sound off on your computer so it doesn't feed back through the phone.
I thought I did. Does that work? Ah. Okay, tell me again what to do, Colin.
I'm not certain. I think if you turn this volume all the way down on your computer, your phone won't be able to pick up the output. Try that.
How's that?
You might have to actually mute your computer, like hit the button to mute your sound and use your phone.
I did.
You did that. Okay. I'm out of options too.
Okay.
Pat, I have another question. I have my iPad here for a second screen so that I could refer to it. You want to take my laptop?
No, what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try to join from my phone.
I'm just going to give her my laptop. I'm on my way.
Okay. So sorry, everyone.
No, we're just seeing that technology can be bewildering.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I guess the interesting thing would be if she could, if she completely, she's dialed in via her phone, she should just shut her computer completely off. We won't be able to see her, but at least we have audio.
Correct. I think Terry's giving her a new computer. But you're right, Matt, if this doesn't work.
This doesn't work, we'll need Mr. Kempton to run this.
Right.
Right. He's the superintendent in waiting. Yay. Like the lady in waiting.
Does that work?
Yay, that's fantastic.
All right. I'm so sorry. Terry just gave me a new phone. I'm sorry. I don't know. I went into in my systems preference, I went to various speakers to try my screen speaker, to try my computer speaker, and nothing was working. So I am so sorry. We'll try to figure this out so this doesn't happen again. My apologies.
It's the first
So
time ever,
moving us along. I'm sorry?
It's the first time that it's ever happened in more than a year of meeting this way. And how fortunate are we that we have Terry just a few steps away who can run up and make things work. So
that is true, but I feel really guilty about that. So my sincere apologies.
You didn't do it, but thank you. Let's go on.
Okay, so moving on to the approval of the proposed budget. So the Finance Committee is recommending to the school board approval of the 2021-2022 school year budget. The proposed budget is for $26,824,751.77. That makes sense. That is a 2.54% increase, which is the equivalent to $663,751.77. The taxpayer impact for that increase is a 6.36% or $633,913. For Gardner, that means $220,670 and change. For Pittston, it's $166,057.58. For Randolph, that means $63,616 and change. And for West Gardner, that means $183,568.83. Andrea, did I say something wrong?
Yes. If you remember at our last meeting, I shaved off everything after 824,000. And since this is a board vote on the budget, I just want to be very clear about the amount. So it's 26,824,000 even.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And the effect?
No, I went back to the policy, to the finance committee and used the numbers that you distributed. And I did forget that you were making that change. Sorry.
And is the impact the same?
Yes.
Thank you. Just want to be clear. Just want to be clear. All right, board members. And hopefully most of you have been attending finance so that many of you have been attending finance. So you have hopefully a grasp of how the budget has been developed and what we've been doing and how this is working this year. Matthew, you have a question?
Actually, a statement, if I could make one.
Sure.
I just wanted to kind of point out that, unlike the municipal budget, there are several things that we are required to pay. And the problem with that is we have no control over several of those things, and if they go up, they go down. In the good years, they go down. That's great, and when they go up in the bad years, it's not so great. But I just wanted to point out that there are some things that we don't have control over, contracts and a number of other things. But the one thing that I will say is I think this year we've done, and the staff, not we, but the staff has done a remarkable job taking care of things that need to be paid for with federal money that isn't necessarily taxpayer driven, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And I think they've been very careful to request certain things, to be paid that, frankly, that we don't have to worry about in the out years either. So they've been very, very diligent about doing the research and making sure that all of the federal money that we're using is being spent accordingly, and I think that this year's budget actually is reasonable. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Matt. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Our business manager and superintendent and her staff, her administrative staff, have worked, they've written grants, they've asked permission to be sure that we get the things that we need. And we have been so fortunate that everything we've asked for has been granted, so that it isn't an additional burden to the taxpayers. And another thing that you'll notice when our budget book comes out is that we continue to operate at about $2,000 less per pupil than many of the surrounding districts that are of equal size and demographics. So we really do, the ground is not level everywhere. Not everyone starts at the same place. And so we, our staff, our superintendent, business manager, and her staff do a wonderful job of providing excellent quality education for our students. And I hate to call it a great bargain because it feels expensive, and I do understand that. I completely understand that. But you're right, Matt, we have the ED 279. There are many, many things that we are not able to say no to because it's mandated, but we would do it because it's the right thing to do. So it's right to take care of our kids. Other questions or comments from board members or administrators? And for those of you that this is the first time you've been through this, if you have questions, this is a great time to get your feet wet. Ask whatever you need. Yes, Cullen.
Just having gone through seeing the first budget process from the inside, I just wanted to give a shout out to Andrea for the incredibly detailed and professional job that she provides for the district. Really impressed. So thank you for all the largely unsung backrooms work that goes into that. I also wanted to say too, I feel weird calling a budget increase thrifty, but really seeing what went into each line, I got to say, I think this is a thrifty budget. I personally have some concerns that there's inflation lurking around the corner there. You're certainly seeing it creep up in a lot of household costs, and I just want to make sure that the kids have what they need going into the next year. So thank you, and I support the work.
Thank you. And Cullen, when you and I spoke the other day, we talked about how this has just been such an unprecedented period of time, and how we've been able to, through these grant dollars, to be able to do things we would never be able to do. And just how fortunate we are that we've had these federal this federal money that has come to our district, and that's helps us to be thrifty. And I understand the use of the word thrifty. It's kind of a weird word. Tony?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm not on the finance committee, but I attended several of the meetings, and I appreciate that opportunity. And certainly to echo what Colin said about Andrea, it's really refreshing to have almost a fun's not the right word, but just an in-depth, detailed, professional conversation that with open, questions and really thorough answers. And I appreciate that, Andrea, and certainly everybody else's, Pat and administrative staff, and coming up with all those line items. And then Andrea knits them all together. So I appreciate that. And I just wanted to reflect on the part of the process that I saw was, again, really looking at all of those line items, obviously. And I know that there were cuts and other adjustments made. And I don't have a lot of detail on that, but I know that those happened, that this is a very thoughtful budget, and that the final cost was factored into a lot of the discussions and how to bring that down. And so I wanted to reflect on that as well, that we were mindful in making it as thrifty as possible.
Thank you, Tony. Jim?
Yeah, I know we've got some taxpayers that are watching us, and being on the committee, we worked diligently to look at all of the funds that are being requested, and the administration cut as much as humanly possible without sacrificing a quality education for our students. We've got everything we needed and nothing that was extra. So it's a tough year, and I hate to see it go up like that, but the increases were necessary, not something that we frivolously took on ourselves. We had to. So that being said, I'm in favor of approving the budget.
Thank you, Jim. Other questions, comments? Yes, Matthew.
So one last thing, I go back to the agenda, right? I mean, so Pat spoke earlier about hiring 4 new hires for this next school year, and 3 of them were paid by Easter money, right? So I just wanted to point that out, that they really went into detail and really pulled out all the stops to figure out how we could fund things and move forward. So just a wonderful job.
And we'll continue. Let's make sure we continue to point those things out as we go through this, Matt, because there's several things that we're able to do, like those 4 hires, and most of it, 3/4 of it, is paid for through CARES Act or ESSER funds. And the level of expertise and experience that is in this budget, Andrea guards our money like it was hers, and you won't meet anybody who watches pennies like Andrea does. So, and she's not a taxpayer in this community, but she behaves like she is. And we are just so fortunate. Not every district has someone with this level of expertise and attention to detail. So when we have our finance meetings, you're right, Tony, they are kind of fun, because Andrea makes money not scary. She helps us to really explain how it works and wrap our heads around it. And we're just really fortunate to have someone like her. So thank you, Andrea, publicly, thank you. other questions or comments? All right, well then I would entertain a motion to approve this year's budget as presented from the Finance Committee to the full board.
I make a motion to approve the budget as presented from the Finance Committee.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Okay.
All right, then, we have a motion and a second. Since Pat gave me the list, I'll call the roll. All right, Becky Fless, yes. Veronica Babcock.
Yes.
Okay. Teresa Garrett.
Yes, and I would call it frugal.
Okay. Frugal and thrifty, I like those new words. Let's see, Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medore.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veet.
Yay.
Quentin Martin.
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc-Ignasiak.
Yay.
Thank you. That motion carries. Approval of the adult ed budget.
Okay, so the adult ed budget. Andrea, I have that the adult ed budget is $313,745.63. Is that correct?
No.
So what is the
I'm
correct
sorry. I know you're out of
rounded
sorts
everything up.
not having your computer. So the requested budget for FY22 for adult ed is $313,320.63, an increase of 4.44% overall, a 0% increase to the 4 communities, but slight variations in what they are paying due to valuations.
So Gardner would see a slight decrease, Pittston and Randolph a slight increase, and West Gardner a slight decrease.
Correct.
Questions? Tony, do you have a question or is your hand just lingering in the up zone? Okay. Any questions from board members?
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
I make a motion to accept the adult education budget as presented.
Thank you.
I second that.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, then. I will call the roll. If there are there any further questions or comments? Then I will call the roll. Becky Fless, yes. Veronica Babcock.
Yes.
Right. Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
James Lothridge.
Yes.
Nicole Medore.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veet.
Yay.
Quentin Martin.
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc-Ignasiak.
Yay.
Okay, great. The motion carries. Unanimous. Next.
Next is the school nutrition budget, and why don't I just turn that to Andrea? I won't even try. Andrea, would you share the numbers for school nutrition?
So the FY22 school nutrition budget is $1,090,000, an increase of 0.37% or $4,000. And there is no direct, the cost of the budget is embedded in the district budget as well as they raise their own revenue. So there is no increase to the town, so to speak. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah.
Anybody have questions? Is that clear as mud? Well, then I would if there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the school nutrition budget as forwarded to the full board by the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve the nutrition budget as forwarded to the board by the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Veronica. A second, please.
Second, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. I will then call the roll if there are no questions or comments. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock?
Yes.
Teresa Barrett?
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge?
Yay.
Ian Lockridge?
Yes.
Right, Nicole Medor?
Yay.
Matthew Marshall?
Yay.
Cullen McGuff?
Yay.
Patrick Saucier?
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy?
Yay.
Tony Veet?
Yay.
Quentin Martin?
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc Ignasiak?
Yay.
All right, it's unanimous. Next is vote to call a district budget referendum, call a public hearing, approve the referendum warrants, and approve the notice of a public hearing.
So in the amended agenda that was released yesterday, the document that needs to be approved next was attached. And that wording needs to be approved this evening. Correct, Andrea?
Yes, so it's sufficient to say I move the vote entitled the vote as Becky just described. It's a vote to call a district budget referendum, to call a public hearing, to approve the referendum warrants, and approve the notice of public hearing. So really what the board is doing is actually calling the referendum on June 8th. You're calling the public budget hearing that we've scheduled to approve the referendum warrants for the towns, as well as the notice of public hearing. So tomorrow, we will be serving the warrants on the towns and posting the public budget hearing. And I appreciate all of you taking the time to come in and sign those warrants so that they could be delivered timely.
And the public hearing will be June 1st at 6 o'clock.
Virtually.
Virtually.
Is there a limit on Google Meets as to how many of the public can attend?
I don't know the answer to that question, Becky.
All right. So may I have a motion, please?
I can make a motion.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Do I need to read the entire sentence as it's presented here?
Yes, please.
Okay. I move that we call a district budget referendum, call a public hearing, approve the referendum warrants, and approve the notice of public hearing. And the date of the election is what?
The date of the public hearing is June 1st.
And the date of
the vote
June 1st.
That's for the hearing, and the voting is on June 8th.
And the voting will be on June 8th.
Yes.
Kind of make that sound better.
Actually, we're going to use exactly the document that was provided by council. So if Jim, you wouldn't mind just amending to make your motion coincide with that.
And as including the document that was presented and developed by our attorneys. How's that?
Close enough. Good enough.
Good enough. Thank you.
I second that.
That was Teresa.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Perfect. I will then call the roll. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Okay, Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medore,
Yay.
James Lothridge,
Yay.
Matthew Marshall,
Yay.
Colin McGuff,
Yay.
Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony Veet,
Yay.
Quentin Martin,
Yay.
and Gwen Bolduc Ignasiak.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. Next, approval to create an additional Gardner Regional Middle School softball team for 1 year.
So this is coming to you because we currently have 26 girls playing on the middle school team. And what we're finding is with such a large membership, the roster is so large that students are not getting sufficient play. We're finding around the area, around this region, that other middle schools are having a similar issue. So there are other middle schools that have created a second team, softball team. So according to Nate, I believe he is still on and he will be able to address this. He is recommending and suggesting that we create a second team for this year that would allow for those girls who are struggling to find or to have time to participate in a meaningful way, to give them an opportunity for additional team to participate on. So the cost would be roughly $75 for referees for at home. The coach that we currently have has offered to coach without additional charge. The second team, there would be some travel involved, but Nate has spoken to Gabe and believes that that is manageable and believe that we can do this under $1,000 roughly. Nate?
Yeah, that's pretty good, Pat. The officials, the umpires are $75 a game. We're going to go with one umpire, which is not uncommon. And we hope to have at least 3 home games, possibly 4. I have reached out to a couple schools already, and they're willing to play us. They have room on their schedule to pick up some games. So we'll probably play a few more home games than we will away, which is actually cost efficient for us because it's cheaper to have one umpire versus paying a bus driver and traveling on a bus. If we do travel, it's going to be local teams that do have a B softball team at the middle school level are Winthrop, Lisbon, Oak Hill, which are close by, and I believe there's one other school as well. I just can't remember which one it is right off the top of my head. So I've already got a couple of games tentatively scheduled based on the approval of the board tonight.
So that's our recommendation, Becky.
Questions, board members?
Now I make the motion, we approve it as presented.
Thank you, Alyssa. Second, Tony? Great, thank you, Tony. All right, I will read the roll. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
James Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medore.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veet.
Yay.
Quentin Martin.
Yay.
And Gwen Bolduc Ignasiak.
Yay.
Excellent. Thank you. The motion carries and it's unanimous. Next is my report. One of the things that we've really enjoyed during the pandemic, if to put a positive spin on it, is the amount of public participation that we've been able to have. And we've been talking about not wanting to lose that and coming back together in the boardroom. The boardroom has not been wired for sound and visual, and our boardroom furniture is big and cumbersome and doesn't allow us to do the social distancing that is required by the CDC. So Pat was able to get approval so that we could, with grant monies, federal monies, purchase equipment for the boardroom so that most of us can be in the boardroom appropriately distanced. So we are having a camera system installed in the boardroom that will be run by a computer. We will not use Google Meet anymore, which kind of makes me sad. I kind of like it, but we will use Zoom instead because this equipment runs with Zoom. And we're getting new boardroom furniture that is less bulky, so we're able to set it. It takes a different amount of room. It still fills the room, but we will be able to have more people at each piece of the dais and still be socially distanced. And I believe, Pat, it will allow us to have 9 board members. Is that correct?
I believe so. You know, I'm working from a mock-up, but I believe that we would go from having 5 to upwards of 9. So we'll still have to do a rotation, and there'll still be opportunities for board members who wish to call in virtually. But for board members who really want to be in person, hopefully after the end of June, because all of this has to be purchased and installed and paid for no later than June 30, an opportunity to meet in person will exist.
Which is great. It's not perfect, but it allows for most of us and we'll have to figure out together and equitably as best as we can who gets to be in the room and who gets to stay home and be comfy and have your feet up in your jammies. Those of us who come back will have to wear pants. That is going to be the rule. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really pleased that it's not a cost. There's not a cost associated with this to the taxpayers, that it's all being paid for through these federal dollars that we were fortunate to receive. And it's going to enable us to continue the much better communication that we've had over this period of time with our communities and with our taxpayers. So again, Pat and Andrea, thank you for riding on this one, and Terry for pulling together the meeting with the technology company so that we could make that decision. So I believe there's an install date set for June 15th. Did I see that?
I think for the dais, yeah, I'm not sure yet about the camera system.
Yeah, I checked with Terry about that, and yeah, the camera system. We don't have a date for that yet, but for the dais, yes. Yes, Matthew?
I just wanted to point out that there really hasn't been anything done per se to the boardroom for public access or the ability for the public, for folks to dial in decades. So
in decades, correct.
Something that was a great opportunity. So thank you, Pat and Andrea and anybody else that was involved for digging down deep on this and figuring out how we get it done. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Andrea reminded me that the existing dais and the chairs were purchased 25 years ago. So they've certainly served their purpose.
And those of you board members who haven't had the luxury of sitting in them, good for you. No, they've held up very well. It was a good purchase 25 years ago, so it's lasted well. Tony.
Yeah, and definitely thank you to Pat and Andrea for coordinating this and pursuing this. And I just want to clarify, I think, so this makes the streaming process sustainable for us, that even as we all return, it'll really promote people being able to log in from home and they can be in their jammies.
Absolutely.
comment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then when we get to a point where we can, more of us can be together, and I'm, confidently hopeful we'll do that. The dais will be expandable to the 12.
Yes. Yeah.
Once we get the go.
When we're able to sit together.
The dais will allow for 16 of us. So that includes all 12 board members, both students, so that they don't have their own little desks separate from the rest of the board, and for Andrea and myself.
Awesome.
Yep. I think it's really, this is a great opportunity. It's just been so great to, I always go home at night and I look at the board meeting as soon as it's posted. I look at it a little bit to see the nuances, and then I check in between to see how many viewers we have. And it's been really impressive, the number of constituents that community members, parents who watch our board meetings. And it's really important. It's been a sticking point for me to not give that up, because we really need the community to see our work, and we are limited in the ways that we can do that. So any way that we can do it, I think it's a good investment, and I'm grateful that we were able to do this. So that's that.
Okay, so on to mine. I'm keeping an eye on the time. It's 7:50. We have my report, 2 executive sessions, and remember, you are limited to 8:30 unless you want to take a vote to extend the board meeting, which is certainly an option tonight. I think you may need to do that, so be prepared. So the first item is disposition of school property. I wanted to make sure that I brought to your attention that we have notified the 4 local municipalities that the old modular unit down near the football field at the high school is available. It's the old alternative ed building that is now being used for storage. None of the towns responded, indicating an interest. So CAD has reached out to local real estate agents to try to determine the value of the building. And I wanted to make sure that you are aware that an ad will be placed, and we will be putting that out for sale, to see if there's anyone in the community who is interested in purchasing it and having it removed, so that we can install so we can build our new concession/storage building. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Also wanted to make sure that you're aware that the adult ed graduation has been set for Wednesday, June 20. That date is later than it has typically been. Those of you who attended finance probably heard a little bit of a rundown with Josh, but he is asking that it be a couple weeks later than when it's usually held, because he has a number of students who are really close to either finishing the high set or finishing various requirements for high school diploma, and would like to be able to allow them time to finish and to participate in that ceremony. The ceremony, of course, this next year is going to have than it's been in years past. So it's not going to be open to everyone. Josh has invited maybe 1 or 2 board members, but we can't open it up to all board members, because we really want to make sure that the graduates are able to invite as many family members as they can. So the ceremony will happen at the high school in the cafeteria, but it will definitely look differently than years past. And remember, last year we didn't have one, so it's really exciting that we have enough students who are ready and are going to be able to go through that ceremony. I wanted to make sure next that the board is aware that we are, of course, beginning to think about next year, to kind of get at Jim's question earlier on. We're beginning to think about next year. We are being advised for the time being to develop plans with the 3-foot distancing and the 6-foot distancing for meals, that physical distancing still in place, Now, who knows what will happen between now and the start of school? There's a lot of talk, of course, with Pfizer potentially being available for students, kids ages 12 through 15. So we'll see, if the vaccination rate is high, maybe the CDC will change their protocol. We'll just have to see what happens. But for the time being, we really do need to begin planning and thinking about how do we bring back students in the fall if we still have to ensure physical distancing. What we're striving for and what we really want to have happen is we want students in person 5 days a week. But as you heard earlier on, there are definitely some challenges that go with that, especially at the middle school and the high school. Hoping that the use of our federal monies to hire some additional staff, especially at the elementary school, the middle school, and to purchase a modular unit at Helen Thompson and 2 additional classroom spaces over at the Pittston Randolph will allow us to reduce our class sizes. They'll be small enough that we can accommodate the majority of our students, especially in pre-K through grade 5. Again, we'll have to see what it really looks like in middle school and in high school. But what we're thinking of in terms of a plan for the time being is that I've asked building administrators to work with their staff to begin discussing what challenges exist, what hurdles, what needs to be done, what could it look like next year, kind of answering all of those types of questions, then bring that information forward, share it with me, and there'll be a committee that will be pulled together that will include association representatives, administrators. I don't know if you want a board member or 2 on it, and kind of talk about, okay, these are the things that we can do. How are we going to proceed? One of the factors for me that I really have at the forefront of my mind are contractual concerns. This year we had to lengthen work days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for student coverage, because we're not able to group students in the way that we have in the past. So if we're going to have students back in 5 days a week, then what does that mean in terms of personnel contracts and prep time and all of that? So that's why I really want to have the buildings help identify what they believe they can do, any challenges that would be created with the plan that they bring forward. Then a bunch of us can kind of brainstorm, get together and decide how do we overcome those hurdles. And if there are contractual issues, then deal with them as soon as possible so that we're ready in the fall. I would like to have this work done by the end of June. That's not much time, but a lot of the work's already been done, right? We already know how many students we can have in the building and how to make it work. So I'm hoping that I envision for the return to school. And I see that Jim has his hand raised.
Do we have a estimate on delivery time and setup time for the modulars? Are we going to make it well before school starts next year?
We think so. We rushed to get the contract signed, and if Gabe is still here, he may be able to chime in. I believe we are looking at the middle of July for a delivery date.
I am here, and yes, that is correct. Middle of July,
okay.
Expected delivery date.
Okay, great. And it's 2 weeks to set up, Jim. So that will give our staff, or it should give the staff ample time to be able to move in prior to the start of school.
I know we're buying 4 units for out at Helen Thompson, but for the Pittston Randolph School, are we adding 2 more sections to the existing unit?
Yes.
So we'll have to break it apart a little bit, put it back together, and that's the.
No, they're just being added to the end of the existing unit. Correct, Gabe?
Yes, correct. All they're going to have to do is remove the siding on the end of that building, remove the door on that end, and that unit will attach right to the end of it with a classroom on each side of the hallway.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Other
That's very cool.
questions? Okay, I will keep you posted and updated as best I can as we move forward with this process. And again, who knows what will happen by July, in August, those guidelines may change. So I'd rather be prepared for the worst case scenario. And if we have to peel away some of those safety requirements and are able to have greater flexibility, then that will be something that we can easily adjust. We can easily make those adjustments and move forward.
Great.
The other items that I have, just wanted to make sure that every board member has on their calendar that we have a joint meeting with elected officials from all 4 municipalities. It is scheduled for Monday, May 4th at 6 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting. Invitations have already been sent to all elected officials with an RSVP so that we can send them the invite to the Google Meet. And our hope is to highlight some of our successes that we've experienced this year, and of course to provide information regarding the 21-22 proposed school year. I just saw someone put up a note. I can't see comments, so I don't know how to get comments on her computer. It was Monday, May 24th.
Yes, and you had said May 4th at first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, May 24th.
Yes.
I apologize for that.
That's okay.
And then the final thing, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware that we are trying to do some summer school programming. Of course, we're doing extended school year for special services students who meet a predetermined set of criteria that we run every year. We're going to be doing that again this year. And then this year, we're also going to do a grade 8 to grade 9 transitions program. We've done that in the past. We're resurrecting that. And that will be held at the end of June, and it will support some of our struggling learners to try to help get them acclimated to the high school, to help provide a smoother transition as they enter into the high school. And we are also just presently exploring the feasibility of other forms of summer school programming this summer. I'm not sure whether that's something we'll be able to do for a variety of reasons, but I just wanted you to know that we're exploring it. And that's what I have for a report this evening.
Great. Does anyone have questions for Pat? Seeing none, let's move ahead so that we maybe won't have to extend our time. It's 8:02.
All right. So we will need to, I have not received any public comment. We will need a vote then to go into executive session. Terry is here. I have her computer, so I don't know if there's something I'm going to do, if she's going to come and take it from me. But we're going to try something new this year, this time around. Rather than having you leave this Google Meet and go to another Google Meet, we're going to move us into a breakout room. Okay.
So if you get a message to join, please do so.
So if you get a message, join to do so. Can you hear her behind me? All right.
Yes.
So we do need a motion first to be able to go in, and we have Sarah Sims is with us, and Sarah is going to be joining us in that executive session.
So may I have a motion to go into executive session?
I think Gwen raised her hand.
Oh,
okay.
I did. I got an email during it, and I had a couple things to add to the student representative section. Can I add that real quick?
Pat?
Yeah, that's up to you, Becky.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. The Interact Club helped a community create Mayday baskets for Gardner residents. The Interact members made 28 Mayday baskets for 28 residents of Arbor Terrace. And that's all.
That's wonderful. That's really great. Thank you.
Yep.
Tony, were you making a motion?
I was about to move that we go into executive session.
Motion by Tony, second by,
I can second Alyssa.
thank you, Alyssa. All right, I will call the roll. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock,
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button and just like exited out. I say yay though. I'm back.
thank you. Yay, okay. Teresa Barrett,
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge,
Yeah.
James Lothridge,
Yeah.
Nicole Medor,
Yay.
Matthew Marshall,
Yay.
Helen McGuff,
Yay.
Patrick Saucier,
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy,
Yay.
Tony Veet,
Yay.
Quentin Martin,
Yay.
and Gwen Bolduc-Igdaziak.
Yay.
Perfect, thank you.
Although as a reminder, students cannot join us in executive session, okay?
Oh, no, I knew that. It just feels bad when I don't include them. And they gave us permission to go, so now we should. So how do I do this breakout room? Is it a?
So whoever is not going into executive session, good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Administrators, go. We appreciate you being here. And do I just hit this executive session button?
Go up to the top and set up and open the rooms. Oh wait, that's okay.
Join a breakout room. I love it.
You need to add me to the breakout room because Mia is you.
Okay, how do I do that?
Do you see me? Drag me in and drop me into the executive session. There you go.
Oh, that's not the, you're not there.
There you go. You're in the executive session. When you get done, you're going to go back up to the top and close the room. Okay?
Okay, you're not going to go too far, right?
I'm running down.
Where is everyone?
They have not joined yet.
Yes, they automatically should have gone in. See,
Okay,
I don't
join.
see
Click
you there.
join. Click join. Oh, click drag me down.
I can't.
Click join.
to extend a job. Nope.
To offer, not
Offer.
right? We are offering a 1-year contract
There you go.
to Sarah Sims for the Gardner Regional Middle School principalship. And the salary is per the contract. Because she's a doctor, she receives additional money above and beyond the for her doctorate.
So moved.
Second. Second by Alyssa. And Veronica, and so many more. All right. Any questions or comments? I will call the roll. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay and welcome, Sarah.
Teresa Garrett. I'll keep moving and come back to her. Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medor.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Beat.
Yay.
Yay. Teresa Garrett, are you back?
He is not on.
All right then. Well, welcome. Motion carries.
All right. Well, congratulations, Sarah. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we will be in touch soon. Our office will put together the contract. We'll be in touch. And I know that you already have a meeting scheduled with John LePerriere. So you will see him next week. I love the initiative. Thank you.
Yes, thank you all so very much. And I'll go before I take up the rest of the time you have.
Great. Thank you, Sarah.
Bye,
Appreciate
everyone.
it.
Thank you so much. You have a great one. See you all soon.
Great. All right. Now we need another motion to enter into executive session to discuss the benefits for non-unionized personnel per MRSA section 405 6D. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. And a second by Tony. Thank you.
Sorry, Veronica.
Who seconded it?
Tony.
Thank you.
All right. Becky Fless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Okay. Teresa Garrett.
She's back on.
Yay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
Jim Lothridge.
Yay.
Nicole Medor.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Helen McGuff.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Wheat.
Yay.
Patrick.
Oh, Patrick Saucier. Sorry.
Yay.
I always am ready, but I didn't hear it.
Did I get everybody? You're going to learn all my disabilities here. I'm left-handed, so I can't see what's on the other side as I'm going down the list. I need to be right-handed, but anyway. All right. So again, here we go.
Okay. I don't have her with me this time. Here she comes.
I hear
The
her.
3 dots, and then you should see it, Pat. Yeah.
She's here. I hear her.
Here, can you help me? Because I did what you did last time. It's not there. Do I come up here to this one?
We got a executive session. Drag Sarah out of it.
She's already left the meeting.
Comical.
Open room.
You're really close. You're
Here we go, kids. Join.
Join. Did she say okay?
Are we good? We are live.
Okay.
All right, so I'm asking please for a motion to adjust this policy. Pat, how do you want it to say? How do you want it to be?
As proposed?
As proposed. Is good. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to put any additional language. So to adjust this policy as proposed.
Make a
We'll
motion.
make that motion.
Policy as proposed.
Right, I'll
Okay,
second.
so a motion by Veronica and a second by Alyssa. And I will call the roll. All right, let's see if I can get everybody this time. Becky Pless, yay. Veronica Babcock.
Yay.
Teresa Garrett.
Yay.
Matthew Lillibridge.
Yay.
James Lothridge.
Yes.
Nicole Medor.
Yay.
Matthew Marshall.
Yay.
Colin McGuff.
Yay.
Patrick Saucier.
Yay.
Alyssa Tracy.
Yay.
Tony Veet.
Yay.
Perfect. Motion carries.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So with that, are we adjourned?
I just wanted to, is Teresa still here or is she gone?
No, I'm here. I'm
Teresa,
here.
apologies. In the interest of time, you weren't back for the vote for Sarah, so I apologize. We just
Oh, no, I would have voted yes. I'm sorry. I lost you guys.
It's okay. I just didn't, we didn't get you, so apologies for that. And everyone, thank you. Be kind to yourselves and see you soon.
All right. Good
night,
night, everyone.